It's the first of two girls semifinal games here at Georgetown Prep, and we have the kid's kid, Taryn Griffey, the daughter of Ken Griffey Jr., leading the Dr. Phillips Panthers against the Archbishop Spalding Cavaliers. Welcome to the 2011 ESPN Rise National High School Invitational presented by Gatorade. Our first matchup, the Dr. Phillips Panthers and the Archbishop Spalding Cavaliers. It is youth against experience, and the winner of this game moves on to Saturday's championship game, which will be at noon Eastern on ESPN2. Alongside former All-American Abby Weiner, a standout at Duke, I'm Anish Shroff, and this National High School Invitational, such a great experience for these teams. What does it really mean to them?
Well, in recent years, there's just been an unprecedented amount of exposure for girls high school basketball. This tournament gives these teams a chance to play when they thought their seasons might be over. And these are two teams that certainly are on the rise, and keep your eye on them in the next couple years. One
player to keep our eye on, Maggie Morrison of Archbishop Spalding. She's headed to Vanderbilt.
And she will fit in perfectly for the Commodores. She is their stereotypical type guard that they like to have. Their high IQ. She can knock down the outside shot and penetrate as well. And on the other side, Taryn Griffey has a bit of athleticism in her genes. That's safe to say. She may be the most athletic player in the 2014 class. She's great off the dribble. She's an excellent on-ball defender.
Taryn Griffey in the backcourt for the Dr. Phillips Panthers, joined by Sydney McCaskill. Those two combined 29 points in a win yesterday over Riverdale Baptist. Maggie Morrison paired with Bria Freeland, Shaquila Curtis, Sheree Swinson, and Camille Calhoun. 4 senior starters for Archbishop Spalding. There's their head coach, Bill Roseman. Goes by the nickname Bookie, sells forklift equipment. That's his day job. This takes up quite a bit of time as well. And then Anthony Jones, in his 3rd season, is head coach for Dr. Phillips, the 6A state champions. Here at the Hanley Center, we are about ready to tip things off. Dr. Phillips, and it's Dr. Phillips controlling, going from right to left. Sydney McCaskill bringing it up.
Archbishop Spalding starting out in man-to-man. That's their typical half-court defense.
Shot from Matea Britvar, no good, but an offensive rebound for Dr. Phillips. Here's McCaskill. And that's Britvar again, unable to connect. And here's Maggie Morrison. Nice outlet pass. Bria Freeland can't get it to go.
One of the best parts of Morrison's game is her ability to control the offense with her passing. She's very good at passing up the court.
That's Taryn Griffey, the daughter of Ken Griffey Jr. She had 14 points, 10 rebounds in yesterday's play-in game against Riverdale Baptist.
Keep an eye on the shot clock. This is something these teams are not used to.
And you mentioned it, shot clock violation. Should mention 30-second shot clock here in the girls' game. Abby, what are the keys for Archbishop Spalding in this contest?
For them, starting off, they need to be able to contain penetration. Dr. Phillips is very good at getting a piece of the paint. They have to keep them in front and crash the boards. Dr. Phillips actually has the size in Archbishop Spalding, but they did not do a good job boxing out yesterday against Riverdale Baptist. Second chance opportunities will be huge for Archbishop.
Camille Calhoun down low, and we have our first points of the game. 2-0 Cavaliers. Abby, what are the keys for Dr. Phillips?
Well, for them, strong start. This is a young team. They are a better second half team. Sometimes it takes them that first half to shake off the intimidation factor and attack the basket. Go to your strengths. That's exactly what Griffin and McCaskill like to do.
McCaskill short on the 3, ball out of bounds. It'll go to Archbishop Spalding. We build this game as one with one team very young. You look at Dr. Phillips. They start 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, have just 1 senior and 1 junior on the roster. Archbishop Spalding starts 4 seniors.
Taking a look at those differences in the rules, again, I want to reiterate the shot clock will be a very big difference for both of these teams. An adjustment they have to make, not typical in high school. However, during the summer and club basketball season, oftentimes tournaments will have a shot clock. You have to be able to make those adjustments.
Camille Calhoun on the offensive rebound. She'll go to the foul line. a 5'10" sophomore, and we were talking to Bookie Roseman rather, right before the start of the game, and he mentioned that Camille, only a sophomore, but already getting looked at by some of the top programs and top conferences in the country.
Villanova and Georgetown of the Big East. South Carolina, Vanderbilt, of course, as Maggie Morrison is going there next year. She's a player. This team goes as her inside presence goes. While Maggie Morrison is the leader, if Calhoun can score and lock down that paint, certainly will open up the jump shot for Morrison.
This is Taryn Griffey. Bounce pass gets away, intended for Tanisha Wilson.
The next part for Griffey, when you look at her, she's simply a freshman. She's a dynamic athlete, a scorer, a penetrator. To bring her game to the next level, it's that point guard mentality of knowing how to set your teammates up in positions to be successful. That pass there, perhaps her teammate's not ready for, and that's an adjustment she's going to have to make.
There's Vanderbilt-bound Maggie Morrison knocking down the shot from the outside, a three-pointer.
A three is a three, whether it banks or not. Count it.
Hannah Shively, no good, but Dr. Phillips able to corral the offensive rebound. Shively will try it again. Comes up a bit short. Archbishop Spalding looking to run. Shaquila Curtis down low, no. And it's Griffey again controlling it. Now we're seeing a little bit of a press from Spalding. And Sydney McCaskill traveled. 6-0. Dr. Phillips still looking for its first points of the game. We watched him in the play-in game yesterday against Riverdale Baptist, and we should mention Riverdale Baptist was expected to win that game. They had 4 Division I bound players, 2 juniors ranked in the top 60. And Dr. Phillips really came to play in that second half, and their coach told us yesterday, this is a second half team. It's been that way all season long.
As we see early, turnovers were a problem against Riverdale Baptist. However, they were able to combat that with their free throw shooting. They were 20 of 22 from the line. They only committed 13 fouls to Riverdale Baptist, 20 fouls. So this is a team that plays with a high level of discipline. However, they need to make sure that carries over to when they take care of the ball.
Looking to run again. This is Griffey. Jade Cheek just checked into the game. No good. Griffey the offensive rebound, but lost it out of bounds. Dr. Phillips still looking for its first points of the game, down 6-0.
When you look at the game of girls basketball, particularly at the high school level, one thing that needs to be improved upon across the board are girls' ability to finish in the paint. There's a high lacking of that at the high school level, and it needs to carry over to the college level where smaller guards have to be able to find a way to finish when they get to the basket.
Hannah Scheibel down low, but Sydney McCaskill stepped down the end line, so another turnover for Dr. Phillips. This Archbishop Spalding team won the Maryland A title. 3 seniors who've scored more than 1,000 career points. It's a balanced scoring attack. They have 6 players that average between 9 and 11 a game. Swinson up top, no, but that's a cardinal sin. Can't foul a jump shooter. Archbishop Spalding will go to the line up 6-0 when we come back.
The ESPN Rise National High School Invitational, presented by Gatorade, is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
That is the Smithsonian, as we are in the backdrop of the nation's capital here in Bethesda, Maryland. The Hanley Center on the campus of Georgetown Prep. Dr. Phillips from Orlando, Florida. They're nicknamed the Panthers, founded in 1987, enrollment of more than 3,600 students. And let's take a look at tonight's players who are primed to perform, brought to you by Gatorade. Sydney McCaskill, averaging better than 12 per game and more than 6.5 assists. We saw how dynamic she could be in yesterday's win in the play-in game over Riverdale Baptist.
She's as good as Taryn Griffey is in terms of getting to the basket and having that ability to penetrate. And you look at this team of youth. They have 1 senior. Sydney McCaskill could be considered almost an upperclassman. She's a sophomore with that year of experience. Look for her to be a very important player as this game progresses.
1 out of 2 at the stripe for Sheree Swinson. This is Taryn Griffey. And it will stay right here. Dr. Phillips off to a rough start. 0 for 7 from the field. 6 turnovers so far, Abby.
Empty possessions. They're certainly not giving themselves opportunities to score.
Shot clock down to 10. That's an adjustment here at the high school level. Jade Cheek from the corner. That's a three-pointer. She had a couple of threes yesterday in the win over Riverdale Baptist.
Dr. Phillips, a team from Orlando, Coach Jones told me that Jade Cheek, well, she's our JJ Redick. She's that player you can count on to knock down the outside shot.
First points of the game for the Panthers. And a turnover for Archbishop Spalding. So one thing Dr. Phillips showed us yesterday, they can come back.
Well, and this is what they have to do with those penetrators. For them, it's not always about getting to the basket. They do a very good job of getting a piece of the paint. Defense collapses and kicking it out to their shooters.
Now to see some pressure by Archbishop Spalding. Cheek again. Well, fire, no good. And it's Griffey to chase down the rebound. She had 10 boards yesterday, only about 6. Down low, friendly roll for Ariana Crumby.
This is what we see oftentimes with young teams. All it takes is one basket. A big three by Jade Cheek. All of a sudden, the defensive pressure picks up. This team now has a renewed sense of energy.
Just like that. Keila Curtis working on Cumby down low. And it's Cumby with the rebound. McCaskill the other way, all the way. And we have a tie game just like that, a 7-0 run for Dr. Phillips.
And that's the difference with Jade Cheek knocking down her first three. All of a sudden, defense cannot collapse in the paint. Ms. Caskill does a great job of recognizing she had that wide open lane.
Morrison from the foul line, no. Offensive rebound to Raven Makins. Denied at the first attempt, and Griffey again skying for that rebound. She loses it though in the backcourt. Bria Freeland, the steal, no. And Tanisha Williams the rebound. Griffey to Cheek. Another three. So Jade Cheek coming off the bench providing a spark.
And that's what I was talking about with Griffey, the recognition of how to set your teammates up in places where they will be successful. She knew she had a shooter. Get the ball to the shooter who's hot.
There's Maggie Morrison, too strong. Swinson there to clean up. After being down 7-0, Dr. Phillips on a 10-2 run. Griffey misfires on a three.
It's a part of her game that she's really working on is her outside jump shot.
Maggie Morrison skying for the rebound. Bishop Spalding keeping it alive, and now a whistle. Coverage of the ESPN Rise National High School Invitational shifts to ESPN.